Hey Potter Nerds, it is Kathleen and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful magical day. Welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're not. So I am so excited to be filming this video today. It's been a while since my last video. I had every intention of filming the last couple of weeks, but last weekend I got a little busy because we have a new puppy in my family. He found us. He came on our porch last week and we tried to find the owner. No one claimed him. He didn't have a chip. So now we have a puppy. So that's what has been taking up a little bit of my time. But today is Harry Potter's 40th birthday. So I thought it would be appropriate to make the Happy Birthday Harry cake that Hagrid made for him in the Sorcerer's Stone / Philosopher's Stone book and movie. That is what we are doing today. But before we get into that video, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below and add a little more Lumos to your day. And give this video a big thumbs up if you'd like me to do more baking videos, more Harry Potter recipes. Alright, I'm going to stop talking and let's get straight into the video. Normally I would be doing this from scratch, but I'm feeling a little lazy today, so I am going to be doing a box cake recipe. This is the Duncan Hines Devil's Food Cake chocolate cake mix, but any chocolate cake recipe will suffice for this, and I'm just going to follow the instructions on the back, and that's what we're going to do. So if you're looking for a video with a fancy recipe, this isn't the video, but don't click away. We're still gonna have a good time. So this is more kind of like a bake with me video. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Not sure what that is in Celsius, but I'm sure somebody can Google it. So we are going to take out the contents. And I don't have my pans prepped yet, but I usually do that last. So I'm going to open this up and put the cake mix in the mixing bowl. Okay, so this box cake calls for 3 large eggs. So I'm going to put those in. This mix also calls for 1 cup of water. And the last thing for this cake mix is a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Now you can take a hand mixer and mix it up. You can do this in a stand mixer, but if all you have is a whisk, that works just as well. And you want to mix until it is smooth and little to no lumps. You don't want to overmix it, but you want it to be mixed just enough. To prep the cake pans, I have 2 small circular ones. You can do a bigger cake if you want. I like using these because it's smaller, and that way if you have more leftover cake, it won't go bad as easily if the cake was bigger. So that's a perfect size. So I like to use a combination of Baker's Joy, which is no-stick baking spray with flour, and little circles of cut out parchment paper. You just want to coat the inside of that. You especially want to get to the sides. And then I like to slightly grease the parchment paper as well. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Now you're going to take your cake batter and split it between these 2 pans. I might have a little bit left over since these are smaller. But you basically want to fill these up a little bit more than halfway because it's going to rise a little bit while it bakes. So you don't want to pop out of the pan. But even if it does, you can level it after it is cooled down from baking. All right. And now that these are even as they will be, I'm gonna pop them in the oven I'm gonna put them in there for a little less than 30 minutes. I'll let you know how long it takes once these are baked, which with the magic of editing, it will be right now. All right, I just took the cakes out of the oven. Do you mind? So I just took the cakes out of the oven. If you hear some weird noises in the background, that is a puppy. He's in there. If he starts whining, don't worry. I am giving him plenty of love between takes, and I took him outside to run around before this. If my dad wasn't cutting the grass, which you probably also hear, he would be outside right now. So he's good. Everything's good. Anyway. So I had the cakes in the oven for about 36 minutes total, maybe a little bit more. They were a little bit thicker than I intended, but that's okay. That's what leveling is for. So while those are cooling in the pans on a wire rack for about 15 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the frosting. I actually have a nice little reference right here. This is a little kind of miniature wooden version of the Harry Potter birthday cake I got in the Geek Gear subscription box a long time ago, and I think it's great to have because I have a great visual look at it for when I'm frosting it, but also a good reference for the colors. So what I have for the frostings are a cream cheese frosting by Betty Crocker. You can make this yourself. Normally I would make it myself, but like I said, I'm lazy today. And for the middle layer, I like to have a layer of chocolate frosting between the two layers. So I have a milk chocolate frosting from Betty Crocker as well. I am going to separate a little bit of the cream cheese frosting into a separate little bowl here for the green lettering. That's what I'm going to use it for. So I'm going to just take a plastic spoon because that's less dishes, and I'm going to put a couple of dollops in the bowl. You don't need much, obviously, because it's just a little bit of lettering, but you don't want too little as well. That should be plenty. Now, you can actually go ahead and just keep the frosting in here. I anticipate not using this frosting for anything else, so you can just go ahead and mix the food coloring in here. You're going to want a red food coloring, and you want to do a few drops at a time to get that pink color. You don't want it to be too light, but you also don't want it to be just straight red. So just use your best judgment for that. So I'm just going to start off with a little bit. Just did like, I don't really know how many drops. I just say like 3, 4, 5 drops. And you just want to start mixing it up. You know, I may have actually gotten the right color on the first try. Nice. Alright, I would like to say that is the color I want. I think I got it all mixed up as best as I can. Might be a little bit of light left, but that's okay. Yeah, this is about the color you want. It's kind of a bubblegum pink with just a slightly darker. So yeah, that is the color I want to use. And for the, Jesus, I can't even think of my words right now. And for the green lettering, you just want to take a green food coloring and the green coloring seems to be a little more opaque, a little darker, so it's okay if you add a little too much. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go with 4 drops and see how I like the color. That's a little too pastel. I'm gonna add a couple more drops. 1, 2. It's still a little too pastel. Alright, I think I like that color. I like that. It's a little lighter than I would like, but I think I'm satisfied with it. Switching over to VoiceOver Kathleen here. As you can see, my cakes are rounded at the top, which is not ideal for stacking them. So what I'm going to do is take a serrated knife and level them. What a serrated knife is basically is a knife with these ridges like I'm showing you right here. And to level a cake, all you need to do is lightly press on it with your hand on the top and jiggle your knife back and forth softly to cut the layer off that you want. I make it look really easy here, but it took a lot of practice myself to get good at leveling cakes. So don't be discouraged if yours aren't as even as mine. And if you have gaps, you can overcompensate and fix it with frosting later. So with an icing spatula, I'm going to take a dollop of the cream cheese frosting and spread just a little bit on the plate that I'm putting the cake on. This helps your cake stick to the plate and not move around while you're frosting it. So like I said in the beginning, the frosting I like to use between the layers of cake is a chocolate frosting. So using a icing spatula, I am spreading an even thick layer of chocolate frosting all over this layer of cake. Now it is time to add the pink cream cheese frosting. What I'm doing is starting with a thin layer, some people will call this the crumb coating, which basically is your first layer of icing that if you do happen to get crumbs or crumble the cake, it is caught in that layer, and you can add more layers on top of that to smooth out the cake. So as you see, what I'm doing is taking a bit of frosting, putting it on the side and spreading up, and then I'm spinning the plate while I am spreading on the side and smoothing the frosting. Now that I have finished frosting with the pink cream cheese frosting, it is now time to put the green lettering on the cake. I have put the green icing into an icing bag, and I don't have a fine enough tip to write with, so I'm just cutting off a tiny portion of the bag at the bottom in order to create my own fine tip. Using the miniature cake as my reference, I am now adding the green lettering to the cake. It's okay if it's not perfect because, to be honest, Hagrid sat on his cake, so, I mean, it'll just kind of feed into the authenticity of it if you make a mistake. So as you can see on the replica, I have a birthday cake, and you'll see in any other picture of Hagrid's birthday cake for Harry, there are these little imperfection cracks in the frosting, I guess to simulate him sitting on it, which honestly, if he sat on it, it would just be smushed, but you know, whatever. I'm recreating those lines now with the end of a plastic knife. Here I am fixing any obvious imperfections. Obviously, the imperfections make it authentic to what Hagrid gave Harry, but I still like to make it look nice.
So that is it for this video. Here is the final product. Hopefully I don't drop it. It looks so cool. I'm gonna pose for a thumbnail. That is it. And if yours doesn't turn out well, or you have a couple of mistakes like me, don't worry about it, because Hagrid's cake didn't come out perfect, and he also sat on his cake in the movie and book, so don't be too hard on yourself. I think that the mistakes make it more authentic. So yeah, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed baking with me, and let me know what kind of fun stuff you did to celebrate Harry Potter's birthday today. I'm probably going to dig into this cake, enjoy some butterbeer. If you want a good butterbeer recipe, I'll put a card right here to a video of my Harry Potter butterbeer recipe.
So yeah. Also, let me know down below what you would like to see me bake next or cook next from the Wizarding World. Any fun Hogwarts feast treats or stuff from Honeydukes, let me know. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for spending time with me today and for bringing Lumos to my life. And let's continue to live Lumos every day. Bye.